Good morning, friends, and welcome to Explaining Hemp. My name is Sara Williams, and I am the CEO and founder of Hemp Pays for Healthcare in Alaska. And today's topic is about eating hemp. Hemp is food. I'm very excited. We're waiting for our guest. He's just coming on right now. He's trying to get his technology working. He is Thatcher Michelsen with Eat More Hemp. And I'm really excited to have a really raw discussion about hemp as food and what hemp can do for the human body and the nutrition needs. I'm doing a lot of research recently about what hemp is as a food source. And I learned recently it's full of omegas. It's full of our omega 3s and 6s and 7s and 9s. And so it really is a full spectrum kind of food. So I'm really excited. So just bear with me a little bit. Welcome to the broadcast today. If you're new to the show, please put in the comments where you're from and where you're watching from. Looks like Thatcher has just joined us. Yay. So let's go ahead and add him to our stream today. Dun, da, da. There he is. Yay. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you to be here.
So glad to have you. How are things in Vermont this morning?
Very good. A little sleepy. We had a cold front move through after like a crazy heat wave, and there's a little bit of change in the atmospheric pressure. So
yeah,
I got to spend some time with some family this morning. My sister's visiting from Tahoe, which is cool. So chilling.
Nice. Yeah, we've kind of had the same here in Alaska. All of a sudden, the leaves are turning yellow and brown, and we're like, what is going on? We haven't even had a summer. We've been blessed to maybe have about 4 or 5 days of 75, 80-degree weather, and the rest has been just rain, and it's very sad. It's very, so we're definitely wanting some like Indian summer kind of weather for sure.
I think you'll get it. But don't let it fool you. Get ready for winter, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Winter is coming, right? That's for sure. Welcome to Alaska, right? That's how it works up here. Winter is always in a state of coming to the next winter for sure. So awesome. Well, Thatcher, I'm so excited to welcome you to the broadcast, guys. He is with Eat More Hemp, and so we're going to talk after our morning prayer and all of that here. But let's go ahead and pray this thing in as we do every time. So if you'll bow your heads with me in respect. And Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you that you gave it to us, and it's your day, and we rejoice and we're glad in it. Father, we just ask that you anoint our lips. You give us the words that we need to speak in order to educate the people about the power of this plant. You said in your word on Genesis 1:29, that behold, I have given you every seed bearing fruit for food and for plant and for you got it. I can't even quote your scripture right now, but Lord God, I thank you for it. And I think that we have Thatcher, who is just here, is just a phenomenal pioneer in this hemp food space. And so, Father, anoint us, give us wisdom right now to share that with the people. And we praise you, we honor you, and we bless you. In the mighty and matchless name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. All right. So thank everybody for joining us. Looking at I've got one watcher right now. Where are you from? Please put that in the comments. Everybody from wherever we're broadcasted across 6 different platforms, 3 on Facebook, 1 on LinkedIn, and it's a cattail, and 1 on Twitter. And so wherever you're at, please put that in the comments so we know where you're watching from. So with every episode of Explaining Hemp, we do a little segment called Hemp News. It's important as this world is changing to stay up to date on what's going on in hemp news. And so, Thatcher, as I bring up Hemp Industry Daily, what are some of the amazing topics of hemp news that you've heard about recently?
Cool. Well, at risk of sounding self-absorbed, I just got back. The only really news that I know is because I'm so focused on my work is whatever news we're creating with the World Hemp Alliance. I am now considered a founding member of the World Hemp Alliance, which just got started this year. It's not a nonprofit. It's not a business association like the HIA or the National Hemp Association. It's more of we're actually a for-profit company, but we're a public benefit corp. We're based in Puerto Rico, and we have global connections, that hence the World Hemp Alliance. And we're just of the mindset of abundance. We don't think in scarcity. We don't think in really competition. The market is so massive that as hemp entrepreneurs, industrialists, green revolutionary, healthy-minded people, we want to just work together in collaboration as an alliance. So I'd say that that's part of the news. I actually haven't even really posted a whole lot about it quite yet, because we are still in the baby stages of establishing our organization. But we will, welcome everyone to the party at the World Hemp Alliance. We already have quite who's who gathering of people in the space globally who have developed and patented all kinds of hemp technologies, from making plastics to building solid state batteries, and then hemp engineering for structures and all that kind of stuff. So on that front, that's more of like taking action, doing stuff economically to get things rolling. As far as like the political front, I guess hemp news there is always evolving, whether, THC limits and whatnot. Because I was just traveling the world and being, spending time in Dubai and Africa and Europe and India for 7 weeks, things changed here a little bit. I do know there's a slight update here in Vermont. People are still pushing for the 1% THC limit so that we have a better range of genetics to work with, and less concern or risk of our crops being destroyed, or worse, facing criminal charges, if it comes to that. So trying to avoid that and move past that is really important for us. I think also news like moving forward on hemp cattle feed is something that comes to mind, and certainly a good topic to bring up in conversation of food and hemp foods. It's just kind of ironic that hemp is totally considered safe and is a $500+ million market in the United States for consumption by humans, but it's actually, a lot of people don't know this, illegal to feed hemp or hemp foods to cattle, chickens, any kind of livestock for human consumption. So it doesn't quite make sense, but certainly Ethan Voorhees and the people at the Hemp Feed Coalition are doing good work, and starting to work with the USDA and the FDA to do the controlled studies to prove that it's obviously safe to feed to livestock.
Once upon a time it was. We can make sure it is again.
Yes. Of course, I often like to educate people about the fact that humans never really did without phytocannabinoids. Certainly we have our own ability to produce our own endogenous cannabinoids and anandamides and whatnot that are critical to our existence, really, our health, our ability to optimally function as living beings, right? It plays such a deep role, and I could get into some details on that if you want. Right. But it's from a general, like higher level speaking of how we kind of evolved in lockstep with this plant. We really leveraged this plant, and this plant, certainly benefited from us working with it as well over the years, improving the genetics and bringing the genetics around the world and crossbreeding them for desired characteristics and all that stuff. But really, I have a strong belief that we are cannabis. This is sort of a scientific hypothesis of mine that I'm looking to prove over the coming years. But I mean, there's just so much evidence. Like the hemp seed itself is the highest quality protein for not just humans, but all mammals and even fish too. Fish love it. Hemp fish feed is coming, and we're working on it. So it's exciting.
Yes, it's so exciting. Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, the hemp seed is 35% protein, 30 to 35%.
Yeah. And we'll get into statistics about that, because I want to talk about specific nutrition functions and things like that. And I think you might have an answer to a question that I came up with yesterday and was very difficult to find specific details for this. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and talk about some other things going on kind of locally. I just like to go to Hemp Industry Daily. Laura Drotleff is a great journalist regarding Hemp Industry Daily. She writes great articles. She's got some couple here, some headlines of hemp growers confront water challenges on top of oversupply. We do have a problem with oversupply, at least in the lower 48, not here in Alaska. That's for darn sure. But, it takes water to grow the plant, right? That's important. And we're experiencing drought in some places of the country, not here in Alaska. We have so much water. It's so wet outside. But that also has its opposite painful problems in mold. So, So there's some things to look at there. I like this FDA rebuffs full spectrum CBD as a dietary supplement. Okay. All
That looks
right. So
interesting. Nice.
interesting article there. So go check that out. What do we have here? Oregon begins double testing hemp for THC to root out illicit marijuana. I'm so sick of the word marijuana. Is anyone else sick of the word marijuana? Are we not grown up enough? Can we just get rid of marijuana? Can we just do that? Anyway, all right. So some articles there: solventless extraction, North Carolina exit. Will more states give up hemp oversight? Well, that's interesting. Okay, so hemp farmers in North Carolina will need to apply for licenses through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So it looks like states are saying, no, we're going to step out. We're just going to make the U.S. do all the oversight. That's interesting.
Yeah, quite the opposite of Oregon there.
Yeah, right. Oregon. You know, I grew up in Oregon, so I've got a general love for the state. Sometimes I don't agree with the direction that it takes, but I don't live in Oregon anymore, so it doesn't matter. I care more about what's going on here in Alaska, of course, and just in general what's going on in the whole national hemp scene for things. So let's just get right down to you, Thatcher. So tell us about you, how you got into hemp, and how Eat More Hemp and that all came to be.
Cool. Yeah, I was just actually seeing if I could share this on my Facebook, see if we get some other people to join. But I suppose there's always the replay. How I got into hemp. Actually, when I was 16, I wasn't really stoked about reading a lot of books or studying or paying attention in school. Grew up in Vermont, so I was outside playing around outside all the time, playing soccer, mountain biking, and my oldest sister, Melissa, who's the one who's visiting now from Tahoe, she told me that I should learn about hemp. And I was like, she thought it would get my interest, get me wanting to learn about books. And she ended up being quite right. But at first I was kind of like, what, that rope stuff hippies make ugly necklaces out of? Like, why would I want to learn about that? You know? And so she's like, no, it's much more than just that. You know, here, read some book. And we found the book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes by Jack Ehrer. And that really changed my life, honestly. It really opened my eyes to the fact that the government doesn't necessarily have our best interest in mind, that there's a lot of corruption and greed and manipulation, not just in the materials that surround us in our daily lives, but the information as well. And it was definitely eye-opening read. There was a motivation behind it as well. Jack Ehrer had a $100,000 challenge on the back cover of the book that if you could prove any of his stuff wrong, he'd write you a check for $100,000. And so after sort of flipping through it, I saw some of his claims and was like, oh man, this is going to be easy. That $100,000 is going to be mine. And so unfortunately, I never did get the $100,000, but I got something worth much more. And that it was just, you know, getting inspired to learn, wanting to learn about everything really. And that's what led me to getting interested in the internet, computers, and started some software companies and online marketing that really gave me a lot of freedom because I was able to be self-employed and generate cash flow from the internet with very little work. So that allowed me to do a lot of traveling, learning, reading, and stuff. So all because of this plant. And I like to say that this plant changed my life before I ever even touched it or saw it, years and years before I ever even touched or saw one growing. And then so in 1999, when I was 19, I convinced my local health food store owner to import hemp protein, hemp seed from Canada. And because I learned about this being a thing, and I saw that it was, you know, available and legal. And this gentleman was like, oh no, I can't do that. The FDA is going to shut me down. I'll have the feds in here. I was like, no, it's not like that. It's a protein. It's healthy. It's safe. It's legal. And so he eventually was convinced and he got it. And to this day, he still sells that same brand, that same product from that same farm in Canada. So, you know, multi-decade relationship that he's established because of my urging him to go for that. And that just led to me being very passionate about hemp. And then when I started Eat More Hemp in 2014, it was, again, my same sister that told me to read about it. I called her on New Year's Day to wish her a happy New Year. And I was like, so what's your New Year's resolution this year? And she thought, oh, about it for a second. She's like, "Oh, to eat more hemp." And I thought that's a good name, Eat More Hemp. And I searched the domain name .com and registered it. And then 2 months later was invited to, I was looking to see if I had an Eat More Hemp sticker on me. Anyway, the Eat More Hemp stickers look just like this, but they're die cut.
Right.
And I've handed out close to 25,000 of them for free. They cost me 50 cents a piece because they're die cut, premium vinyl stickers. But I've done that just as like a guerrilla marketing campaign just to get the brand out there. And really because my main focus is I just want people to eat more hemp. I haven't even launched the website or sold the product yet. It's just been since 2014, it's just been this sort of viral guerrilla marketing campaign of like convincing people to eat more hemp. But I do have some plans to launch the brand very soon. We're going to have a cookbook project with multiple chefs and restaurant owners across the country, that type of thing. But another interesting tidbit to that story with the complexity of it was kind of funny. There is a campaign in Vermont that started even well before 2014, well before I started Eat More Hemp, called Eat More Kale. And I didn't know about it when I started Eat More Hemp because I hadn't lived in Vermont. I grew up here, but I hadn't lived in Vermont for like 12 years or longer. So I was living in New York City, and then I moved to California and didn't know about Eat More Kale. But I caught a lot of flack when I moved back to Vermont a few years ago, and I was handing out the stickers. People are like, "Oh, it's like, did you steal the idea from Eat More Kale?" I'm like, no, I didn't steal the idea. It's just ironic that we're both from Vermont. So I did actually. It was kind of funny because Vermonters are very protective of everyone in our community and stuff. So like, "Oh, you stole the idea." No, it's just ironic that we're both from Vermont. So.
Right. That's so good. Thank you for sharing. Sorry about the distraction there. My kiddo came upstairs and I had to get him all taken care of. But...
I didn't even notice. I'll just keep talking.
Okay,
It interrupts me anyway.
So,
no worries.
Okay. So,
oh, your mic is muted, I think.
Oh, am I muted?
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
So I'm working on a campaign right now across Alaska for hemp as food security for Alaska's future.
I saw that.
And the idea here is that Alaska just really doesn't have any food sovereignty. We don't have food security. We ship in everything. We make only about 5% of our own food supply. And so here we get Manitoba Harvest, hemp hearts, right? Mm-hmm. Canadian made at Walmart. And this is how I get my hemp, and I put this in nearly every meal. Oh, wait. There's a hand sticking over.
Someone wants some attention.
You got to go find it, dude. I can't help you.
It's not on the couch.
Sorry, buddy. I can't help you. Okay. So the goal here, of course, is to get people to eat more hemp, right? That's the plan. Yeah. And so, but why? Why do we need to eat more hemp? Why? What's good about hemp? Like, why is it nutritious?
You want me to take that one? Oh, he's got some hemp seed there.
Those are not.
I thought it looked like hemp seed.
Stop. All right. So hemp, I can totally. In fact, I wanted to bring up something from, in fact, a reputable source, so y'all realize that it wasn't just me saying these things. I've got from WebMD this little article right here. Hemp seeds, are they good for you? Pros and cons, nutrition. Okay, does everybody see that?
Yep, looks good.
Kind of. Okay. So the great thing about hemp is that now in this case, this gives a 30-gram serving, which is 3 tablespoons. So it's 166 calories. Okay. Protein, really high. 9.47 grams, almost 10 grams of protein in 3 tablespoons of raw hemp seeds. Now that's plant-based protein. I'm a vegan, guys. I need protein. So how do I get my protein? From hemp. It's a great source. Fats, 14.6 grams of fats. Okay. 15 grams, 12 grams, depends on the hemp seed. I mean, every hemp seed is a little different. This guy says 10 grams of protein and 12 grams of fats, carbohydrates.
Healthy fats.
Healthy fats, exactly right. Good fats for you. Carbohydrates in this guy, 2.6 grams. So very low in carbs. Fibers, 1.2 grams. So it's high in fiber, right? That's awesome. Sugar, tiny, 0.4 grams. My body doesn't like sugar, so I love hemp. But it also a really good source of other amazing vitamins and minerals, right? Iron, vitamin E, manganese, magnesium, B vitamins, great for your energy levels. Zinc. Hello, zinc. Anybody here? Zinc helps you battle COVID. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, 20%. You typically get about 20% of your daily zinc needs from just the 3 tablespoons.
Awesome.
Pretty fascinating.
Awesome. Yeah. And then we have here we have the last piece that I thought was really interesting is hemp seed also contains high levels of omega-3, omega-6, even omega-7 and omega-9 essential fatty acids. So I know it doesn't say that there, but the truth is it does have omega-7 and omega-9. Did you know omega-7 is really good for your heart health, your skin health, your mucous membranes, keeping all of that working and hydrated? What? Hemp seed can do that. So
it has all 21 amino acids.
Oh my goodness! See?
It's really it's actually the only complete protein that's vegan.
Right? That's amazing.
It's extremely unique. Yeah.
Right. It's so good. Okay, so it supports healthy cholesterol levels, supports your immune system function, and it helps regulate your metabolism. So I thought that those were incredible ways about why we should be eating hemp, because hemp is good for you. It really is good for you. But look at this. Can you see this picture? These guys are so tiny and they're so nutrient packed. They're so tiny. Okay. And inside this, there are millions of seeds. Like I don't think I can show you like this picture. Wait. Hold on. I got to get there we go. There they all are, right? They're so beautiful. And what's inside those little tiny seeds is an oil that can not only fuel your body, but it can even fuel your car. It's the same oil that can be created as biofuel, can be created for fuel for your body. That's pretty powerful too. So what are some of the ways that people can put hemp into their diet, Thatcher?
I actually wrote a little poem for that. Because people always ask me how to use it, so serving suggestions. First, I like to say it's healthy, delicious, life-enhancing brain food, right? So it might even help you dance better, honestly. So the little poem is: keep it simple, means just eat it straight. Sample in a jar, on top of your thick strawberry goo or in your fish market stew. Try it on a wedge salad or stash it in the gumbo. So those are just little fun. Actually, they're my favorite rock band Fish lyrics and Fish song names. I just kind of strung them together in that poem. But yeah, it's like some ideas. It's been a while probably since you've made some gumbo, so there's a little motivation to stash it in the gumbo or make a wedge salad. Yeah. You can put it on top of your strawberry jam. Just some.
I put it in pancakes for my kiddo, waffles for my kiddo, like baked goods. You can put it in there.
Yeah, actually, for baked goods, this will blow your mind if you haven't tried it yet. But hemp flour, FLOUR, like baking flour, like wheat flour. It's what's fascinating about hemp flour. There's a couple of different types. When I first started using it about 5 years ago, it was green and gritty. It's very similar to the hemp protein powder, which is a byproduct of making hemp seed oil. So when they make hemp seed oil, which is, you can basically think of hemp seed oil as synonymous to olive oil in the ways that you would use it for salad dressings and whatnot. You don't really want to cook with hemp seed oil too much because it's very fragile, because it's so good that it's fragile. Let's just leave it at that for basic terms. But when they make the hemp seed oil, they take the whole hemp seeds with the shell on it and everything. They crush the whole thing with a press. And then what's left over is the seed cake, and it's kind of dry and it's full of protein still, because the oil fats have been squished out, and it has a higher protein content than the seeds themselves, because the fat oils have been pressed out, right? So that cake is left over, is dried out and then ground into a powder, and often sold as a protein powder for mixing in, smoothies and whatever else, to just get lots of protein and not so much fat, which is popular, with bodybuilders and whatnot. Athletes. So that product was then further more finely milled and turned into like a flour and sold as like a baking flour, but it was never really that great. It was kind of gritty, a little bit sandy almost, because of all the shell content that's in it. The new hemp flours are actually made from the hemp hearts, and they're actually, it's a white, a little bit yellowish color because of the all the nutrients and stuff that are in the hemp seed, but in the hemp hearts. But it's basically dehydrated hemp hearts that are then ground to a fine milled flour that's like a nice powder. So now you can make these like pancakes, cakes, breads, all kinds of baked goods that are totally gluten-free and carbohydrate-free, because there's very little carbohydrates. There's like 1 gram of carbohydrates in 30 grams of hemp seeds. So very, and those are like a natural fiber, and then like partially fiber, partially sugar, that are really good actually for digestion. So it's a fantastic way to make really healthy baked goods.
Yeah, it really is. And it's an opportunity for us to get really creative. I mean, you can make hemp ice cream, you can make hemp tofu. You can make so many things with this one plant.
When it comes to like milk, for example, a lot of people are getting off dairy milk. So oat milk has been everyone's heard about oat milk now. Yep. It's a huge popular thing. There's some issues potentially with it. It's not really that healthy, honestly. Then almond milk. Almond milk is, massively popular, but there's a lot of problems with almond milk. With almonds, you only really get omega-6. There's hardly any omega-3. And when you eat too much omega-6, like when you're drinking almond milk, when you eat too much omega-6, it's very inflammatory. Omega-6 is healthy, but not when you have too much. Like the American diet already has too much omega-6 in it. So drinking a lot of almond milk is really not very healthy for you. And a lot of the minerals and nutrients in it aren't really that bioavailable. Plus, producing almonds, they can only be produced in a small area of the country under perfect conditions. And it's causing all kinds of issues with the pollinator bees. And it uses a lot of water to produce one single almond. It takes over a gallon of water in irrigation to produce one almond. So they're just not sustainable. They're not really that healthy. And it's a pain making almond milk at home, because you have to pre-soak them the night before. You have to blend it. Then you have to put it through a sock and filter it all. Well, with hemp seed, you can make hemp milk at home if you have a high-speed blender.
Hemp seed and water. Boom.
Yeah, it's actually, here's my recipe for hemp milk. I actually own hempmilk.com, spelt with a Y. I always do that. I don't know why, but why. So hempmilk.com is launching soon. We're doing it as a package. So I'm pre-mixing different ingredients of hemp milks and ready to go. So you just take 3 tablespoons of the mix and put it for each 8 ounces of water. And if you use really, really cold water or some ice cubes in there too, it comes out really nice after just blending it. You don't have to filter it. So what I put in some sea salt, because it helps make it add some micro minerals, trace minerals, and it makes it taste a little bit more creamy. And then local honey. I've tried with maple syrup. My first company I ever started when I was 9 years old was making maple syrup. I called it Thatch's Batch. And in Vermont, we can make maple syrup because we have maple trees, and we have that 1 month, maybe only 2-3 weeks, some years, window out of the entire year where we can actually make maple syrup. So it's a very limited window of opportunity in the year that you can actually do this. So it was a great hobby, great business to start as a kid, because it was just this one, short-term period of part of the year where you could be actually doing it. And but I love maple syrup. I love the way it tastes, but for some reason it just does not work well as a sweetener with hemp milk. The flavor profile doesn't mix well. But honey, thankfully, which is more widely available, does very well. There's some other stuff like coconut nectar, which does well as well. But honey seems to be the best. And then obviously, if you use a nice local raw honey, you get all the benefits of that too, blended in. But yeah, hemp milk is probably the best, most delicious, easiest recipe that you could do with milk or with hemp. And it's delicious, and you don't have to strain it. If you're using a high-speed blender, it all gets liquefied.
So this brings me back to my staunch belief that hemp will end world hunger, that hemp has the potential, if we embrace her, if we just grow her, and we stop with this whole like trying to control the people thing, and we give them self-sustainability, we teach them how to grow hemp, that they then could use those seeds. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, guys. You know that. But I do have some knowledge when it comes to health care kind of related things. And do your research. Could hemp milk be a phenomenal replacement for formula? Yeah, I think it could. Could you feed it to young babies? Yeah. So do some research in that we have these African countries, and I mean, many countries all around the world. We have a world hunger problem. And it's not for lack of supply, it's for profit-driven motives. And so if we could just go ahead and care more about people than we care about how much money we make, then we really honestly could change the world in a way that would lift up those who are so broken. And so just all they want is somebody to love on them and care for them and feed them. And if you give the human body good nutrition and a good roof over their head, watch what they can do. Okay.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And so yeah, hemp really has that potential to kill world hunger. So what are some of the things you learned on your incredible journey around the world? Where did you go? I was following you on Facebook and was like,
cool.
Tell me, what'd you learn?
First, I was invited to go to Puerto Rico 2 months ago to speak at an event there put on by Goldfinger, which is like a modern social club / deal club where they put together entrepreneurs, startups, and investors. And they do in-person deal clubs, and they also do virtual stuff. They are doing more and more of the virtual stuff, which is great, and helps protect the environment. It's good during these COVID times. But they're itching to do something, in-person deal club, and they got the Puerto Rico one going. They invited me down. It was also in a Green Finger, which is a subsidiary of Goldfinger's group that's all focused on sustainable investments, eco investments, and climate change, addressing climate change and all that stuff. So I spoke there, and then it went over real well, and was invited to go to Dubai to speak at their event in Dubai. So what was the dates of that? Early July or late July, July 22nd or so. I spoke in Dubai at the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, in the Armani Ballroom, in front of a lot of people that have the type of resources necessary to make a lot of change and are open to it. And that's part of what I would say that I learned is that, first of all, hemp is still very unknown. There's still a lot of work for us hempsters to do to get the word out there and educate more people, which is great, and why I like doing things like this, because a lot of these big industrialists, investors, world leaders, politicians that I've met on my trip have no clue about industrial hemp. They still think of it as a drug. And I tell them this good one-liner of hemp is not a drug. It's a valuable, conservative natural resource with thousands of commercial and domestic and industrial applications. And in fact, it can be used to address a lot of what the problems we're facing in the world, not just from hunger, from the issue with hunger and health related issues, which cannabinoids help to address as well. But all the materials that, like with hemp, bioplastics and textiles, and it's just fascinating how much it can do to address so many of the issues that we're facing. And then that really makes you wake up to the fact that we're facing these issues because of hemp prohibition, because of the fact that it was illegal and talked down upon for so many years and made to look like an evil plant. When how ironic is that it's the exact opposite, that it's the one that has always been here for us and will always want to just help us and assist us. And now the more and more energy we give this plant, the more back into balance we'll find ourselves. Cannabinoids, CBD especially helps heal and treat and heal and soothe so many different ailments, both physical and mental. And how does it do that? It does that by helping you bring your body into a balanced state called cell homeostasis. And we know that because each cell in your body has the ability to self-digest or commit cell suicide, which is important in helping maintain a healthy cellular environment in your body. The reason why every cell in your body has the ability to do this is to protect the other cells around it. So if a cell in your body is diseased or damaged or aging to the point of potential problems, it knows it's time to self-digest and commit cell suicide, cell apoptosis, or on a systemic level like cell autophagy. So that process of cell apoptosis, the individual cell death, yes, the cell is capable of it, but we're just now learning in recent years that the endocannabinoid system is chiefly responsible for modulating cell autophagy. What does that tell us? That tells us that every single cell in every organ, every bone, every drop of blood, every single cell in your body is an endocannabinoid receptor. That means that the endocannabinoid system, which is one with your nervous system, is actually the extension of your nervous system, the last mile of your nervous system. Like your nerves, they go out from your brain to your spinal cord, out through your arms, all the way out to the tips of your fingers. But the nervous system, those nerves don't go out to every single cell on your finger or your skin. What does? The endocannabinoid system. So in order for that cell to commit suicide and protect the other cells around it when there's something wrong, it needs permission from the endocannabinoid system to do so. And when you're deficient in this nutrient called cannabinoids, whether they're endogenous, created by your body, which happens and has to happen, or they're phytocannabinoids from the cannabis plant, which we consumed both directly and indirectly for eons as we evolved into these advanced species that we are because of the plant. You need it. And if you're in deficiency of it, because it's been systematically removed from our diet because of prohibition, then that system of balanced cellular environment, healthy, optimal homeostasis breaks down. And you end up having a bunch of imbalanced, unhealthy cells in your body that are causing havoc and disease strictly because you're lacking in a nutrient that we, as we evolved, were luckily to get both directly and indirectly from eating livestock and wild animals that ate the hemp plant, or eating the hemp plant directly. I mean, there's evidence going back thousands of years proving that humans first used this plant as the first ever widely cultivated plant, both for raw materials, for building and for ropes and for clothing, and for the protein to fuel us and our animals.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that brings me to the hemp for healthcare idea. And so thank you, Thatcher, so much for bringing up that, because even this morning I had a conversation with a woman with the Texas Hemp Innovations Cooperative, and we were discussing the details of the hemp for healthcare, hemp pays for healthcare idea, and how this would really work out in the conceptual realm and then in the practical realm. And so if you're new to the broadcast, welcome everyone. As you're watching even now or into the future, we have many platforms. Please follow or subscribe where you're at. If you're interested in all things hemp, that's what we do here, is we discuss hemp, we explain hemp so that we can learn about it. But why? Well, here's the idea. The idea is that America and Alaska need a healthcare for everyone system. We do. Every other civilized country has it. And as human beings, we deserve good quality healthcare. But the current reality in America is that if you're sick and you don't have health insurance, you either don't go to the doctor, or you go to the doctor and you have a $50,000 medical bill on your shoulders that you can't pay. And so we have the major cause of bankruptcy in the United States of America is medical bills. And we have this horrific belief that we should profit off of the healthcare of our people, and we should have just great big profits when people are sick. And I think that's wrong. And so I want to create a healthcare for everyone system that's directly tied to the hemp industry. This is how it works. So the farmers, the backbone of our society, the ones that grow plant-based medicine, the ones that grow hemp, the ones that grow food for your bodies, they are the backbone of our society. We don't get to walk all over them. We don't get to use them, and we don't get to talk down to them. If they did not break their backs every single day for the American people and for the world, they would, we would be dead. Because we need food, we need medicine, we need vitamins, we need things that keep us going. And so we have to honor and exalt them, but I'd like them to participate with me in this whole game of changing the world. And that is asking them for what I call a tithe. It's not a tax. I don't want this to be a government organization. It's a tithe. It's a decision that I'm going to, as a farmer, give a percentage, maybe 10 or 15% of my sales of the biomass of my hemp product to the Healthcare for Everyone Fund. Set that there in the state centralized healthcare system. Okay, this is not a federalized program. It won't ever work if it's federal. The federal government doesn't know what they're doing, guys. It's just not going to work. So we need a state centralized healthcare program. First, we fund it by a tithe off of the biomass. I don't, again, like the word tax. Then we process that biomass into thousands upon thousands of products that can be made out of the hemp plant. And then we sell that in Hemp Pays for Healthcare stores and in hempforhealthcare.com. Then the profits from your sales will go into the healthcare fund for your state. So, for example, if Thatcher were to purchase from hempforhealthcare.com, then his profits from his sales would go towards the healthcare fund for the state of Vermont. Then that healthcare fund pays for the healthcare needs of the people in the state of Vermont. Or in my case, the state of Alaska would be where my purchases go. So then as you move, if you choose to move to a different state, well, then your healthcare profits would be redirected to the populations of your state. And so then those healthcare profits would then go into that healthcare for everyone, or hemp profits, I guess, would go into that healthcare for everyone system. But this isn't your typical system. This isn't how it is now. This is a system that says we're gonna take you first, and we're gonna do a hair follicle test that checks for your vitamin and mineral deficiencies. We're going to check your endocannabinoid system. We're going to do a test for that. We're going to check a thermal imaging to see if you have any hot spots that might be presenting as abnormal cells. And then you get to sit down with a doctor. Okay. We're not going to play this game of pinning the tail on the donkey anymore with your healthcare, because doctors only are as good as the education they have. Well, let's give them some upfront education so they can make much better decisions on your healthcare. In addition to educating them about the benefits of the endocannabinoid system and why hemp and cannabis are both medicine for our bodies. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. I understand. But guys, this doesn't happen unless you can support the vision as a whole, that if we buy hemp, we can fund healthcare. And the idea isn't just so I can tax people to death, because that's never my concept. But if we can do good things with the money we generate, then we can truly change lives, and we can truly give healthcare to everyone involved. Now, there's two other pieces to the initiative, and that's the Industrial Hemp for Prisons program and the Hemp Houses for the Homeless. So the Industrial Hemp Prison program is building a prison population that grows hemp or processes hemp for your basic Maslow hierarchy of needs. So your food, your building materials, your textiles, things of that nature. And then that prison population would sell those products to the government, because prisons can't compete with private industry. But governments should not be spending their tax dollars in China or other countries when they're generated directly here in our states. So it allows us to use our government tax dollars to fund really healing therapies within our prison populations. And the last piece of this is the hemp houses for the homeless. So building houses entirely out of hemp, hempcrete, hemp wood, hemp paint, hemp mattresses, hemp bedding, hemp carpet, all sourceable materials even now, building a house entirely out of hemp and placing individuals who are homeless into these houses. Not just to give them a free house, guys, but to give them a caseworker and a support team and people that say, I love you, I believe in you, I know the world has been hard for you, but you can recover. You can heal from your addictions. You can overcome this. And so what people need in their darkest hours is support and love and building up, not being thrown away like they don't matter. So society needs to change, and the hemp industry can truly support that in a way where if we come together and recognize that when you eat more hemp, you're healthier. Your body is healthier. You don't need as much health care when you eat more hemp, right? You have this opportunity, guys, to use hemp as a plastic that's biodegradable, that won't destroy our environment for generations to come. We have the potential to use hemp as a biofuel that won't create as many carbon emissions. And not to mention the very plant that we continue to grow will absorb those carbon emissions from the air. So this change is one that is revolutionary. This change is one that if we just get behind the concept of this vision, we can do so much more than just grow hemp and eat hemp, but we can heal a people. And so America needs it, Alaska needs it, and that's what I do every day is I wake up and I fight for this bigger concept that we can have healthcare for everyone without jacking your personal income taxes through the roof. We can attach it to a great community benefit of buying hemp and funding healthcare. So if you like what I'm doing, please go to hempforhealthcare.com, make a purchase, make a donation, support the process, support me, support what we're doing here, and we just keep moving this thing forward. So Thatcher, I really want to thank you so much for your input today and for your education. I'm really excited. What would you say was one of the biggest takeaways that you got from your global trip?
We are starting to see change in interest in truly sustainable solutions, even if it's something that is, politically challenging, like hemp, even in places like Morocco and India. In India, they have a rich history with cannabis, but it's been removed from their modern day knowledge and education. Like they actually think of it as a deeply evil plant, that's a bad thing. So there's a lot of public education necessary there. I mean, I spent 2 weeks in India. I could spend 2 years there. There's so much work to do, and it's such an incredible place. But thankfully, I have long-standing relationships with people there, people I've known for over a decade and worked with professionally that I was able to spend a lot of time with there and work towards this. This was not a vacation for me. I was working around the clock the entire time on educating as many people in as powerful positions as possible about this that have the ability to, affect change. And yeah, I would say the biggest takeaway was that some of these very powerful people and successful industrialists, entrepreneurs, businessmen who have the money to make change are open to learning about this and do get excited. They can be educated about it and they are opening their mind to it. And that's finally, bringing a lot of hope, because I've been at this for 24 plus years and this has not been the case until just recently. So we've got with the World Hemp Alliance, we've got very promising projects kicking off in Africa and India and here in the United States. And they're looking very sizable and very real, and it's exciting. So it's happening.
Awesome. That's great. I'm so thankful to hear that. Okay, so if people want to learn more, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, right now, actually changing the eatmorehemp.com website. I'm going to finish getting that reset up here today. But there is a decent Eat More Hemp community and a couple different Eat More Hemp pages on Facebook. There's the Eat More Hemp community where we share recipes and stuff. And then there's the main Eat More Hemp page where they can see videos of my speeches at different hemp events. Also, I spoke at Harvard and at NASDAQ in Manhattan about hemp. So those videos are on there on both Facebook and on YouTube. So if you just Google Eat More Hemp, you'll see all kinds of links to more info about me. And also Instagram, Eat More Hemp is a great way to, reach out, send me a message. Probably the easiest way to get directly in touch with me, and just a message on Instagram. And yeah, show us some love, give us a follow, comment on some of our photos. Every little bit helps. And we'll be doing a lot more here now that we're finally getting some support and attention from people who can afford to do this in the way and the scale that is necessary. So we're excited to finally be launching it here. And we're actually, I would quickly mention, one of the campaigns that we're going to be launching with is a buy 3, get 1 or give 1. So it's buy 3 bags of hemp seed, which is good for 1 adult for a month. And it's a monthly subscription of $35. And you're getting your full month of hemp food, hemp seed on a monthly subscription. And what that allows us to do is to either give you the 4th bag for free, or if you need it, or if you're able to give that 4th bag, we'll have a new nonprofit organization partner each quarter. So 4 different partners a year. These will be organizations like the YMCA or, large nonprofit organizations that have a lot of reach to get the brand and the education out there. Organizations focused on ending teen homelessness or veteran homelessness, that type of thing. So it's a buy 3, get 1 or give 1 free campaign. It's all the hemp you need in a month, and it's a subscription. So that is going to be going live soon. It's all American grown, high quality, organic certified hemp seed and hemp food products. So keep an eye out for that.
Yay. Awesome. Yay. All right. Eat more hemp.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Okay. Well, thank you for those of you that did join us today. Ongoing cat that keeps running across. So thank you again so much for supporting the broadcast and joining us. And so let me go ahead and bless you, okay, and send you off to be the planetary superhero and the world changer that I'm calling you to be. Thatcher said a couple of times in this broadcast that there's those with the money to make a difference, and I get it. Sometimes those of us without money, maybe we feel like we can't make a difference. Like, what does it matter? Like, we're so out of control with, or out of control what really happens in the big scheme of things. And the truth is though, it starts with you. It starts with you. It doesn't start. And yes, there's big power. There's power, and there's the elite, and there's corporations, and there's money. And we know that, guys. I mean, come on. I've been Illuminati for 3 years. You know that. But the truth is that it starts with you, and it starts with you and your decision to buy a hemp product. It doesn't have to be hemp food, but I highly recommend that. But it could be a hemp shirt or a hemp hat, or it could be a hemp crate, or it could be a hemp plastic straw. It could be so many different things that you choose to just start making a difference with in how much your impact on the planet is lessened by choosing a hemp product instead of a petroleum-based plastic product. I know, guys, here in Alaska, I'm not the most popular person for that, guys, because, here in Alaska, we count on oil, right? Yeah, I know. But the truth is I'm coming along and I'm saying we can do something different. So hemp is the answer. So let me bless you out and send you off. Be a world changer today. Change someone's life. Bless someone. Find a hemp product. Get involved with the industry. Be a grower. Be a producer. Think of a great idea. Come on out and be the world changer that we need. All right. So now may the Lord bless you, and may he keep you. May he shine his face upon you, lift up his countenance towards you, be gracious to you. And most of all, during these seemingly uncertain times, give you his peace. God bless America. God bless Alaska, and God bless you. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Blaze on.